There's nothing in the NASCAR universe quite like a Tim Brewer interview. Brewer loves to talk. He loves to tell stories. And yeah, he's got some opinions and isn't afraid to share them. He also loves to dangle the bait out there. And just when you're on the edge of your seat and ready to bite, he tends to reel the tantalizing little nugget of information right back in to save for another day. Brewer's been on the Scene Vault podcast 3 times. And 3 times he's talked about how he once came this close to being sent to NASCAR's electric chair. He'd never admitted why he would have been so severely penalized until now. Sit back. You're going to want to get nice and comfortable for this one. Let's set the stage. It's 1992, and Bill Elliott is just beginning his first season with Junior Johnson and Associates. Brewer is his crew chief, and the two seem to be almost instantly in sync. This being Daytona, where Elliott has shined so many times already, Brewer comes up with a nifty little trick to stack the deck that much more in his new driver's favor. There's only one problem. Gary Nelson, an acknowledged master of trickery under the hood of a race car himself, has been hired by NASCAR as the heir apparent to Winston Cup director Dick Beatty. And at Daytona in February 1992, Nelson seemed to be everywhere. According to Brewer, Elliott and teammate Sterling Marlin both had the trick on their cars. Where did the 2 cars qualify for the 1992 Daytona 500? That would be Sterling Marlin on the pole, while Bill Elliott was second fastest. Afterward, again according to Brewer, Nelson came this close to absolutely nailing him to the wall. Here's the first time we talked about it back in May of 2022. And yes, I am aware of the sound issues. I'm a storyteller, not a sound engineer.
The great Gary Nelson. He has tore my car all to hell. I mean, we got the motor out of it, got the transmission out of it, and he reaches over there and pulls on the seat cover. And about that time, the whistler went off on the motor right over there. And I'll never forget to this day, Mike Hill had a chaw at the back end about like that, and I couldn't put that stuff in my mouth if you held a gun on me. And he's getting ready to pull that seat cover off. And old Mike goes, and Gary turned around and walked away. And that's Gary's first race as the new guru.
Yeah.
They'd have given me 30 days in electric chair if they'd have caught what I had on that car. And Andy Petrie, they caught him with some aluminum, with some copper washers that they mashed, and the car went down and all that stuff. And I'm going. And Richard Childress and Jack Rouse, they're standing over there. Brewer's up to something.
All right, so what was on it? I got to ask.
Can't tell you. I forgot.
The statute of limitations is passed.
Run out. Ray Abraham and I, we had that conversation. He said, Brewer, you can't tell them people, hey, you done stuff. I said, yeah. He said, they'll think you're a cheater. Hell, that ain't cheating. That's self-defense. I said, them guys come to do the same thing to me that I come to do to them. But, hey, my deal is I hit them with both barrels, and then I split.
Do to them before they do to you.
Exactly. I do them and then split. See you later. Bye. No, but Clyde and I, we kind of passed old gate, and I said, what you doing, Clyde? He said, what's wrong with Junior? What do you mean, what's wrong with Junior? He said, Ivan, I'm telling you, he was on a dead run when he went through this gate right here heading for the parking lot. I said, really? That don't surprise me. He goes, well, he ain't going to be around if you get caught? I said, hell, he's halfway to Wilkes County. I said, you think you're going to hold his feet to the fire?
That seems to be a theme.
And he told me, he said, Elizabeth. I said, baby, there ain't no need in calling that lady. And I said, for a word, I said, because she ain't going to get us out of this one, Clyde. I'm telling you. He said, brother, I'm telling you, you the craziest man I ever seen. But Clyde and I, we it's like Sterling said, you ever drove Brewer's race car? You're pulling something or pushing something or moving something all the time. but it was a game.
For our 250th podcast episode, Brewer returned for a panel discussion with Larry McReynolds, Robert Presley, and Johnny Benson. Again, I tried coaxing the electric chair information out of Brewer, and despite prodding from me and Larry Mack, Brewer still wasn't going to budge. The last time that we talked for the show, you were talking about standing next to your car with an inspector, and the inspector was about to take the seat cover off your car, and
That would have been interesting.
he somehow got distracted. What was he about to find?
Yeah, Tim, what was he about to find?
He was about to find something, Larry, that would have put me in the NASCAR electric chair. But you know, that's Petrie. He got caught with them copper washers.
Yeah.
You know, that would sink that car down. But Petrie, he forgot something. You got to get that thing back up to get through inspection. But at the end of the day, that Gary Nelson guy, you know, that's his first big hoorah. He's going to clean this garage area out. Well, he forgot to tell me and Mike Hill and Pete Wright that, because now you see it, now you don't. And we're going to kind of like leave it at that. But, you know, Junior, he went back to the shop. He told them boys, he said, I'm going to need 40 horsepower. What the hell are you going to do with that? I said, all I need is to be about an inch low. He went, how you going to do that? I told him, he went, you have lost your mind. I said, no, I ain't. I said, you just hide and watch this. But anyway, it's like old Bill Elliott and Sterling Marlin told him, so if you drove Brewer's race car, you was pushing or pulling or doing something all the time. And it's self-defense. But, yeah, that guy, to answer your question.
I was wondering if you were going to.
We ain't talking about anything.
He reached up and grabbed the back of the seat cover on Bill Elliott's seat. And J.V. Raines was over there, and they, you know, that whistler they had on the motor, the whistler went off. And he just took his hand off that seat cover. Mike Hill sitting over there, he had a chaw back in his mouth, and I thought he was going to swallow it. His eyes rolled back in his head. And about that time, he just turned and walked off. I said, hey, I got to send them motors and all this parts back to Wilkesboro to get it all put back together. Be all right, we load these things up? He went, yeah, bro, get that thing out of here. I said, okay. And I thought, thank you, Jesus. But it would have got me a fine. They'd have kicked me out for the rest of the year if they'd have caught me. But they didn't catch me.
I'm pretty convinced he ain't going to tell us.
Tim Brewer returned to the show for what was planned to be our 400th podcast episode. Once again, we headed down the road to qualifying for the 1992 Daytona 500.
We had a trick with Bill Elliott, and we're in Daytona, 1992. And Junior come to me and said, you got to put that on Sterling's car. Really? Junior, they'll get us caught. Well, you got to put it under Sterling's car. Okay. And Sterling went out and run, and our oil heaters went out. And anyway, Bill, he knew what the deal was. Sterling knew what the deal was. But Bill, he was coming out to get in the car, and I go, what's wrong? He goes, Junior went through that paddock gate like a bat out of hell a while ago. I said, that's about par. He goes, what do you mean? I said, if we get caught with this deal, I said, we're gonna be in deep, deep trouble. I mean deep trouble. And he goes, Elizabeth. I said, ain't no need in calling her because she ain't going to get her ass out of this one, I can tell you that. You mean Junior ain't standing around, going to stay around and help us? I said, dude, he's probably halfway back to Wilkes County by now.
Is that what was under the seat? That if they had uncovered it, you've made the comment a couple of times, they would have put you in the NASCAR look.
Oh yeah,
it's the same deal.
Oh, I wouldn't have been back for a long, long time if they'd have caught it.
Well, you haven't specified anything.
Well, it's two kind of people in this world. That's the caught and the uncaught. And that was Gary Nelson's first race.
Yeah.
And I got Jack Roush and Richard Childress sitting over there going, Brewer's up to something. Brewer's up to something. How's he burn that paint off the top of the fender wells on the rear of the car? He's up to something. Well, yeah, we was. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I had Mike Hill and Pete Peterson. We put the car in the truck. After Gary Nelson took the motor out of it, took transmission out of it, took it all apart, I said, hey, I got to send those motors back to Wilkes County so they can rebuild them and bring them back. I said, I'm going to put my car in the truck. When we put it in the truck, Pete and Mike, they changed all that stuff out.
When it comes to the actual hands-on nuts and bolts of making race cars go fast, my knowledge base is extraordinarily limited. I thought I had an idea about what Brewer had been up to, but shocker of all shockers, I was wrong. Brewer finally admitted what was underneath those two cars.
Sterling still had it on his car.
What were they changing out? You still ain't see it.
I ain't going to say it. Because it was a great one. It was a great one.
It's got to be nitrous.
No.
It's got to be nitrous.
No.
If it was under the seat?
It was a valve under the seat.
A valve for nitrous. Come on, Brewer.
There's a valve for hydraulics.
Wait a second. Had I just heard what I thought I heard? Sure enough. And once Brewer let go of the information, he went into detail.
And it just pertained to taking the trailing arms out, because there was a hydraulic measure up under the spring cups.
Yeah.
And I had spring cups about this tall. And I had two of the greatest machinists in the world, Abby Garwood and Ed German. And what they would do is, I would be sitting there telling them what I'm wanting to do. And Ed German, he had worked in hydraulics a long time, and he made me slave cylinders that would go up and go down. The trick was we had a mechanical clutch, but in order to operate the thing, we had to put a hydraulic master cylinder up here as a reservoir, and we had it on the same clutch pedal as the mechanical deal. But the mechanical deal worked the clutch. The hydraulic deal had a line run down, and I dissected the trailing arms and run a line down through the trailing arm, and that line what run to the hydraulics in the back. So you pump the clutch and raise the car up to go through inspection. As soon as you went off pit road, you open the valve, car goes down, and you haul an ass. So at the end of the day, we had it on Bill's car, we had it on Sterling's car.
At some point, this happened.
Sterling, I went by one time and they had the rear tire sitting off the car. And I told old Flash, Tony Shoemaker, I said, if I come by this car one more time and them rear tires are off this car, I'm going to fire everybody here. Okay, Brewer. And I told Junior, I said, they're going to get us caught, or they're going to get caught, because I'm not going to get caught.
It was at that point that Elliott's car went back on the trailer to have its illicit hydraulic system removed, while Marlin's apparently stayed put throughout the week. Either way, Junior Johnson was headed for the garage exit, a throwback to his moonshining days. He wasn't about to wait around and see if the law would finally catch up with Brewer or Mike Beam, Marlin's crew chief. Once the Daytona 500 got underway, Marlin led a total of 33 of the first 92 laps, while Elliott was up front for 23. Those first 92 laps went as well as any one racing organization could expect, but the 93rd did not. Bill Elliott, Sterling Marlin, both taken out of contention in a mid-race accident with Ernie Irvan. For more than 3 decades now, that's been the narrative of Junior Johnson and Associates in the 1992 Daytona 500. But now, you know the rest of the story.